10% Happier. I love Dan Harris, I love his podcast, I love his book. I love him as a person. I think he's really entertaining and brave man to expose his vulnerabilities, of course, which we all have, and leverage them as a way to do good in the world. But 10% happier. Does meditation make you 10% happier? Maybe. If you are doing it, and by meditation I mean meditation and mindfulness, if you're practicing it on a rather casual basis, I guess you will notice some immediate impact. But of course, it's really about connecting us with what is. And so it's not merely about giving us tools to deal with day-to-day reality, but it's also a way of changing our base traits over time. So there's really two sides to it, or two parts to it, I should say. One is managing our state, giving us extra tools with which to do that. And the other is very slowly changing our traits over time. And that's if we view meditation and mindfulness in a very instrumental fashion. Because it's not really an instrumental exercise. It's not done properly with the intention of trying to achieve something. And that's often why a lot of people struggle with it, because they overcomplicate it in some sense. But perhaps more because it's the only pursuit in our entire existence that is about doing nothing. I've heard it described as the only pursuit that has no purpose. Calling it a pursuit is almost inaccurate. The notion that we should be trying to achieve something with it is yet again another storyline in some respects. And so what it does, it really connects us with the nature of things, how they are, not just externally but also within our own minds. And often by practicing that awareness, it is happiness, it is making us more aware. So I would not say that meditation makes you mindfulness and the formal practice of mindfulness, which is known as meditation, makes you 10% happier. I wouldn't even want to put a number to it. I would say that mindfulness is happiness. One thing you might notice is that the more you practice, the bigger that impact could be calculated. If you wanted to put a number to it, the more you do it, the bigger the difference, obviously, in terms of how much you practice per day, but also how long you practice for. Again, talking about states and traits. But one thing you might notice over time is that you still have ups and downs, and then you develop a relationship with those ups and downs. At first, it perhaps might be quite normal to buy into, get really frustrated, think, is this really working? Then you develop a new relationship with those things over time, whereby you realise the inevitability of them. But if you practice this thing over a very long period of time, you may well notice something quite peculiar and very rewarding, which is that your base level may increase. If you are analytical about these things, like my nature is certainly quite analytical, and you observe these things, become aware of them, you might notice a trend, which is that despite the ups and downs, the base level tends to go up as a result of being better able to manage your state, more experience, more practice, more familiarity with that whole process, but also the natural, my phone battery ran out there, it's okay, calm, let it go, as a result of neurological changes in the brain. So 10% happier? No. Awareness is happiness. And I firmly believe that the practice of a healthy head state, not only being the end goal in itself, is also very much something worth practicing along the routes of building your freedom, training your body, also train the mind with the understanding that it is ultimately the end goal. Do that for 1,000 days, see what happens. Hope that was useful, guys. I shall chat to you next time.